What up, y'all? It's that time. Fifth quarter, season 3, week 2. I was just looking at the news feed over here. I never really paid this too much mind. Like I just happened to just check it out, but I never really paid this no mind at all. But this is pretty smooth how they got, different things that they talking about over here. You know, gotta start adding this into the fifth quarter because I mean they what some of the things that they saying is things that I'm going to be talking about anyway. It's some of the things that I say, like when it says a week 2 win for the Chargers in Las Vegas would be one of the statement games in the season so far. And guess what? I agree 1,000% because these two met in the playoffs. Raiders eliminated them. Um, they played twice last year in the regular season. They split, but the Raiders got the last laugh. So right now, you got to think that the Chargers looking for some get back. Um, what else they're talking about that's worth mentioning? Oh, that's going back to week 1. They talking about week 1 right there. Jets play Cowboys this week. Jets coming off a loss in week 1. Um, Dallas coming off a loss in week 1. So let's get into it. Let's see what's what. Let's go to the weekly recap. See what they got showing over there. I'll be missing out on that too. I haven't touched the weekly recap in a little while, so gotta see what's going on with that.
The new season starts now. I'm Scott Hansen, and you are tuned in to the brand new EA Sports Weekly Recap for Week 1. Plenty of action to get to. We'll begin in Santa Clara. The Niners at home to take on the Detroit
Upset.
Lions.
49ers beat the
And
Lions.
it's Jordan Watkins. He's going to bring this one in, and away he goes. Put it in the books as a 62-yard touchdown. The 49ers wind up winning this one.
I think the Lions gonna have to make a trade over there, make something happen, shake up
Next
that
up, how
team.
about a trip to Vegas, everybody? Checking in on the Raiders
This
as
was
they host the Baltimore Ravens.
the champs came out and took care of business on week 1.
Thornton.
And they dominated this game against the Ravens. Ravens gave up a lot of big plays, uncharacteristic big plays at that.
One more to show you. Let's go to Charlotte. It's the
Bills came out this game and so they got a bad taste in their mouth from last season.
And he sets his sights towards the end zone. 54 yards for the score. And that'll do it for us. After a fun first week, let's do it again, shall we? Scott Hansen here in Orlando. Good night from EA Sports.
Let's go look at the rest of the recap from week 1. So week 1 it was a lot of theatrics. I said during the off season, I said I predict this season to be explosive. I think that season 3, I think a lot of teams are in rare form, and I anticipate there's going to be a lot of fireworks going down this season. And sure enough, week 1 had that. There was a lot of upsets in week 1. Just thrilling games, period. Point blank. So yeah, so like I said, there was a lot of a lot of week one upsets that went down, and that's to me, that's just the introduction to how I think this season going to be. Not to say that I think it's going to be upsets, like that every week, but I just think this season is going to be, it's going to be a ride, in my opinion. And sure enough, week one kicked off to be that way. So first off, in week one, you had the Colts and Titans, and listen, the Titans came into this season with expectations to do well, not only in that division but in AFC period. And in week one he didn't get it done. He lost to the Colts. Uh, listen, I gotta commend the Colts. He took a lot of heat. He took a lot of heat for all the disappointing moves that he made. But look, he rallied the troops. He focused enough to play 4 quarters of team ball to pull out a win. And listen, no matter what, we talk about everything. Whether we gotta talk about teams and the moves they make or the bad losses they put up, or we gotta talk about the good wins that they get. And in this case, the Colts got a good win. They pulled out a tough victory over the Titans on the road. So Colts kick off the season 1-0. Good win for the Colts in week one. Falcons upset. This ain't the first. I say this is the second upset that went down. Colts beating the Titans was an upset, and the Falcons beating the Cowboys was an upset. Dallas was also at home. Hold on one second. So, like I said, this was the second upset. So right away, you seen the first 2 games on the schedule was 2 upsets, and the Falcons took care of Dallas. Um, I mean, look, this is a good win for the Falcons. Regardless of what, however you feel about that team over there, he got it done. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what, he's 1-0 on the season. And this is a tough loss. This is a tough early season loss for the Cowboys because you got to remember the Cowboys battled it out and lost the division last season due to points to the Eagles. So these type of teams, I'm pretty sure Dallas came in saying, circle this week one game as a win, and could this have been one of them games where he didn't really get up for, where he felt like all he had to do was show up and get it done? Sometimes you could come into a game overconfident and it could backfire, and you come out sluggish. You don't really come out sharp. It can happen. Due to the caliber play, you might play somebody and you might feel like, all right, let's go out and get the win. Ain't no real big motivational speech going down. And he could have got caught slipping. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's possible. But nevertheless, it don't change the fact that Dallas starts off the season 0-1 and a tough division over there, so they're going to have to get back sooner than later. But good win for the Falcons, nevertheless. Bears and Cardinals. Bears dominate this one 45-7 over Arizona. I don't know what's going on with Arizona. I mean, for the first 2 seasons, the first half of both seasons, they played pretty good ball. For whatever reason, they couldn't be consistent. And this is not the way you want to start off the season. You don't want to start off the season getting dominated like this in this fashion. Again, everybody is the GM. Everybody is the coach of their own team. It's on you to figure out what is going right and what is going wrong. And in this case, if you're the Cardinals, you can't just keep putting up these type of performances. They got to figure something out sooner than later. Chiefs and Browns had a close one that came down to the wire. Chiefs pulled away, won this one 24-21. Good early season win for the Chiefs. I mean, look, if you're the Chiefs, they're another team, back-to-back seasons, had good starts of the season and couldn't get it done. Collapsed second half of the season. Browns say they missed the easy field goal. Um, I mean, look, there you have it. Then you lost. You missed the easy field goal that cost you. Special teams is part of the team. You know, they play a tremendous role. You know, so you know, Cleveland sound like they might be looking to see what's going on with that kicker or whatever. But as of right now, that's a tough loss, especially if you miss the easy field goal. Tough way to start off the season. Chiefs start off 1-0. Eagles and Washington. I checked out. I was checking out some of this game. Uh, Eagles and like I said, I was checking out. I was checking out some of this game, and this is a good game. Commanders had its shot in the end. Um, well, not even before the end. Commanders let Philly score late in the fourth quarter. It's pretty much a back and forth thing. Commanders just couldn't hold on. They couldn't get the big stop that they needed to close it out. And Philly came out and pulled away with it. But if you Washington, listen, I always say that you can come out of losses feeling good, and you could come out with a win and not feeling too good, if that makes any sense. And what I mean by that is that, yeah, sure, you'll win a game, and granted, yes, a win is a win, but sometimes you'll come out a win and you won't feel too, too good about it. You know, there's a lot of things that went wrong. You just, you just happen to win. So, in this case, if I'm Washington, I'm not gonna lie, I feel good about this loss. Why? Because let's be honest, Philly been putting up 50 or more pretty much against everybody. So if you Washington, you have to look at this game. Now, it can go both ways, right? Because Philly is known for also giving up a lot of points. So they only gave up 26, but we all know Philly is the more explosive team. So for the Commanders to only allow 30 points, that has to feel good. You know, even though they lost, they come out this game feeling like we can compete with this team, and we got a good enough defense that can slow down Eddie offense. So if I'm Washington, yeah, we lost, yeah, we wanted to win, but this is the loss that I actually feel pretty good and confident about. But nevertheless, Philly fought hard to get this win, and they got it done, and they 1-0, and more importantly, they 1-0 in that division. Dolphins and Jags. Dolphins won this one 70-37. I didn't see what was going on in this game. This game was going on during my game, but looking at the score, it looked like it wasn't too much to check out. But Dolphins dominated this one. I'm not mad. That's against somebody in my division. So Dolphins won this one 70-37. Texans and Patriots. This game, man, this game was crazy. This game was crazy. If anybody didn't see this game, we was down, meaning the Texans, we was down by 28 points in the fourth quarter. I know my guy Daz is sick after this one. He said he's sick, so it ain't that I know he's sick. I'm telling you he's sick. This is a tough one to lose. I mean, this is a type of loss that can carry on to the following week. I don't know, man. It's hard to it's hard to get up from the mat after a loss like this. We was down by 28 in the fourth quarter and came back to win in overtime. Look, that's why it's important. That's why it's important to play smart, meaning like, you know, take the field goals, kick the extra points. Don't worry about the 2-point conversion. Because you got to understand, you got to pay attention to, what's going on. It's like, we scored a game tying touchdown in the fourth quarter, right? Fourth down, fourth and goal. We got a game tying touchdown, and yeah, we could have went for 2 to try to win the game. But my thing was the defense was playing out its mind in the fourth quarter. So why take away, you know what I'm saying? If the defense is playing good, let them cook. So we kicked the extra point. I had enough confidence in my defense to say, well, y'all boys is playing out your mind, if it go into overtime, even if he get the ball first, I like our chances. We got the ball first. We end up kicking a field goal. He got the ball back, and defense stopped him on 4-and-out. Game over. So this is a great win, great comeback for the Texans. It was looking real ugly. I'm not gonna lie. It was looking real ugly. Too many plays we was giving up. Too many. It was too easy. We was making it too easy for him. We made the adjustment in the fourth quarter, even though it was looking like it was gonna be lights out. But man, I think this is one of my best comebacks, ever. Listen, the Heartbreak Hotel started with me. Like, I originated the Heartbreak Hotel from doing things like this, So don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. But a good win for the Texans. Steelers and Packers. This was a good game. Steelers won this one 31-24. And Steelers kick off the season 1-0. Listen, Pittsburgh had an interesting last season, right? Because the Ravens was the champ last year, and Pittsburgh got swept to the Ravens by the Ravens in the regular season, and he eliminated the champs in the playoffs. Made it all the way to the AFC chip, and end up losing to the champs, to the Raiders. So Pittsburgh is coming to the season with some swag. They come into this season, feeling like Baltimore gonna have a problem in that division. And this first week of the season kicks it off. It kind of shows that. They win 31-24. So a good win for the Steelers. Packers, they're a playoff team. This not the end of the world for them. Although I will say that the Bears won a division last year, so I'm pretty sure Green Bay won't have something to say about that division this year. Giants and Jets. Giants won this one 49-30 at home over the Jets. Jets give up basically 50 points. Good win to kick off the season against the Giants. Jets, we know when you see the Jets, we know what you got to do. That front seven got to come prepared to stop Breece Hall, and it looked like the Giants did a pretty good job on it, even though I didn't see the game to really know, but they won pretty convincingly. So good win for the Giants. Listen, if you the Giants, you came close, real close from making the playoffs last year. So you have to feel like, we right there at the door. All we gotta do is just turn it off and just go in. So way to kick off the season for them, because look, Dallas lost. So right now in that NFC East, just Giants and Eagles are the only team that's 1-0 at the moment. So great win for the Giants. 49ers and Lions, another upset that happened. 49ers won by 10. And like I said, I think the Lions, I don't know what's going on with Cole Allen's not Lions team. It may be some pieces that he's lacking, but he might have to make a move. He might have to make a move. Simple as that. Yeah, it happens, Josh. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gonna have games where you don't play good. That's the reality of it. And listen, it's hard to play, I don't know, what is it, 17, 18 games in the season? It's hard to play every game on your, on your best, at your best. Like some games you're going to have where you feel like you was just cooking in all areas. And some games you're going to have where you just felt like, yo, we just didn't have it today. It's the reality of it, That's why, what they say, you can't get too low after a loss. You can't get too high after a win. You got to stay even and just move on. But like I say, no matter how tough a loss is, the good news is there's always next week. But this is a good win for the 49ers, man. Listen, the 49ers, one of them teams, they haven't been coming close to making the playoffs. But the funny thing is, neither have the Lions. I'm surprised at the Lions, to be honest. Cole is better than what he's been playing. I don't know if it's something that he's missing. But again, if it is, he's going to have to go out there and probably make a trade and shake up that team. Because this is not how you want to start the season off if you're Detroit. The champ, the Raiders, win this one in blowout fashion over the Ravens, over the previous champs. They won 77-42. And like I said, what I was seeing in this game was that the Ravens was giving up a whole lot of big plays. I don't know what happened that game, but the Raiders just pretty much did whatever they wanted to do. You know, it was almost like they was just playing practice mode, because it was one big play after one big play. And the thing about it is that the Ravens is not that they're not really known for giving up so many big plays like they were, but they just didn't have an answer for anything. And the champ just dominated this one in pure fashion and showed why he's the champ. So if you're the champ, and there is a such thing that I always talk about, Super Bowl hangover. That didn't apply in this one at all. He came out in this game as if he lost the bowl. This was a statement win. This was a statement win, in my opinion, because the last time these two teams played, matter of fact, I believe the Ravens won. So I think the Raiders wanted to make a point, and right now, point made. Bills and Panthers. Bills 57-36 over the Panthers. Listen, calm. If there's anybody that's going to have a chip on their shoulder, it's calm. Why? Because there's two teams last season that had similar starts and similar finishes. The Bills and the Commanders had the same type of season last year. The Commanders started off, if you remember, at one point in time, it was the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Cowboys dancing for a while. And the only thing that pretty much separated the Commanders from the Eagles and Cowboys was the tie. Remember that? And the Commanders missed the playoffs. So what I'm basically saying is that by like week 8 or week 9, the Commanders might have been like 7-1-1. With that type of record, you would have thought the Commanders going to the playoffs. No, the Commanders missed the playoffs. Second half season collapsed. They end up losing their next 7 out of 8 games or something like that. Horrible second half for the Commanders. And oh yeah, Buffalo had the same type of season. They too started off the season last year minus the tie. They might have started the season 8-1 or something like that. Had a nice comfortable lead over the Jets and Dolphins and Patriots as well. And guess what? The Jets won the division. And not only did the Jets win the division, Miami made the playoffs as a wild card, and Buffalo missed the division. Yeah, you heard right. Buffalo started off the season about 8-1 and missed the playoffs. That's what you call a travesty. I don't know what happened, but again, I tell you this, and y'all probably don't really take me serious when I used to say it. Now the game has a thing called home field momentum, right? We know that's in the game. But I've always told y'all for years, and anybody that's listening that heard me say this before, that what I'm about to say can say they heard me say this before. The game always had built-in momentum. I've always told y'all that. The game always had built-in momentum. Whether you were losing or winning, it was a momentum either with you or against you. If you was the team on the winning streak, the momentum was with you. Meaning, you were going to get the breaks, you were going to make the tough plays, you were going to get the 50-50 balls. You know why? Because that's just the momentum. It was just on your side. If you on a losing streak, it's the same way. How many times have you heard me say, if you lose 2 or 3 games in a row, all of a sudden the hardest thing to do is just to get a win. No matter who your opponent is, it's hard to get a win. Meaning, you're fumbling, you're dropping big time catches, like calls is going against you. The game always had built-in momentum. I've always said that. So when you see a good user like Calm all of a sudden just have a second season collapse, I'm telling you, him getting them losses had a lot to do with it, where he just couldn't turn it around. You understand? I'm telling you, that stuff exists. That's still in the game. So that's in the game on top of the momentum that Madden put in for like the home field advantages and things like that. So now you got 2 different ways of momentum going against you. I'm telling you, you don't believe me? Pay attention this year. Anybody who lose 2 games in a row, something like that, 3 games in a row, trust me, watch how hard it feels to do a whole lot of things because you've been losing. It's almost like you playing uphill, and then when you winning, everything just feels so nice. It's sunny. It's sunny outside. It's not a cloud in the sky. I'm telling you, man, it happens. But Buffalo definitely are one of the teams that got a chip on their shoulder this season. And look, Carolina Blue Mo, he's a good user. You understand? He's a good user. And Buffalo dominated this game. So Buffalo clearly came out, couldn't wait. Buffalo, trust me, Buffalo could not wait for week one. I don't think Buffalo cared who was on his schedule. He couldn't wait for week one. He had to sit the whole offseason. After that collapse, trust me, that offseason felt like eternity. Buffalo showed why he couldn't wait for week one to get here. Seahawks win this one over the Rams in the shootout. Both defenses took the day off, but Seahawks held on to win 69-64. Look, man, I'll say this about the Rams. I mean, I know they give up 69 points, and I know they lost, but I got to say, if you're the Rams, you got to kind of, yeah, your defense played horrible, but listen, Seattle, I just got through saying Seattle man-to-man defense, in my opinion, is the best in the league. And for the Rams to score 64 points, that has to be encouraging, right? Somewhat. Like, it has to be. Yeah, granted, we know the Rams give up 69 points. We get that. But what I'm saying is that they also scored 64. So if you're the Rams, you going into the locker room in these meetings and you saying your defense, if you can just play half better, you ain't even got to play 100% better. If you could just play 50% better than what you did, we're gonna be all right. This is a lot of points to score against a good Seattle defense, man. His man-to-man defense is legit. But the Rams just couldn't stop a nosebleed, at the end of the day, and they come up short. They lose in a wild shootout. But again, I'm real curious to see how round two shape out now after this one. That was it for week one. Recap week two. Now, before I get into the prediction for week two, let me say this. I got something real important to say. And I need everybody to understand what I'm about to say, because I'm not going to repeat it again. And after I repeat this here now in this live, I'm going to put it in the chat also, because obviously, as we know, everybody don't listen to the fifth, which is fine. But I'm going to put it in the chat also so nobody won't get a chance to say they didn't know. Listen, there is a glitch with the kickoff. I done seen two videos of people doing that. What is it called? The scum kick or something like that. Whereas that you kick on the kickoff, you kick it a certain way, and your opponent won't pick up the ball, and you'll pick up the ball, and very easily. For whatever reason, your team will not get the ball. That's a glitch. If anybody is caught doing that from here on out, your opponent, I'm telling you now, your opponent gets the force win. We're not doing that. That's bogus. You know what I mean? Don't start doing little funny stuff like that where you doing the bogus kickoff. Like, come on, we don't need that. I done seen two videos already of somebody doing that to their opponent, and I've also seen the video on YouTube to know that is a glitch in the game. So once again, if anybody is caught doing that scum kick, and I can't remember if that's called the scum kick, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll know what I'm talking about now that I'm saying it. It's a way that you kick off the ball to where that the receiving team won't pick it up. The ball will bounce past everybody, and your team will go down and pick up the ball. Nah, that's a scum kick, bro. I mean, that's a scum kick. I've seen the video. But I'm just saying, if anybody's caught doing that, that's a forced loss, automatic. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. No scum kicks allowed. Just kick the ball straight up. Even if what you're saying is accurate, cool. But I'm just saying, we ain't riding with that. So that's that. Now on to week two. On to week two. We got the Commanders and Panthers. Listen, this is this is a big early week 2 matchup because Cowboys. All right, I got you. Um, Cowboys coming out. Cowboys coming out for blood this week. Well, I ain't saying that you. I ain't necessarily saying that whatever. I'm just saying we just can't have that. That's all. But it's nothing to stay on. You know what I'm saying? I just said what I need to say about that, so it won't be an ongoing thing. And that's that. You know what I mean? But it's cool. We moving right along. League flowing. We ain't gonna stay on that too long. Let's get back to these games. Listen, this is a big matchup right here because Cowboys coming for blood this week. They already 0-1. Eagles is 1-0. Giants is 1-0. Panthers in the division with the Bucks. Panthers got blown out in week 1. Commanders lost a tough one in week 1. Some got to give in this one. If you the Commanders, you do not want to be 0-2 in this division with Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants. And if you the Panthers, you don't want to be 0-2 in that division, even though the Bucks is 0-1 because he didn't play week 1. But you do not want to be 0-2. You want to get these wins while you can. So this is a pretty big matchup in this one. Well, my rule of thumb. I always say anybody who got blown out the previous week always come back and play better the next week. I think the Panthers come back and play better this week, and actually the Panthers at home. I'm going to give the slight edge to the Panthers, but I think this game could go either way. If this game was in Washington, I would say Washington. But because it's in Carolina, I'm going to go with the Panthers in this one. But I got it to be close, man. I think it's going to be a tight one. And I don't think a lot of points is going to be scored, a ton of points. I don't think it's going to be no 50-something points scored on both ends. So I got the Panthers winning this one 31-27 over the Commanders. Cowboys and Jets. The last time these two teams played, and I could be wrong, but the last time these two teams played, the Jets blew, I think, a 3-score, maybe even 4-score lead. It was something like that. It wasn't last season. It was season 1. They could have played the game, but that's the last time I remember between these two, the history between these two. But look, Jets, same scenario. Jets 0-1, Cowboys 0-1. Buffalo got an axe to grind this season, so Buffalo's coming out for blood. And Miami's already 2-0, and the Jets do not want to start off 0-2, and Dallas don't want to start off 0-2. So it's kind of the same scenario in this one as well. This is a big week 2 matchup. I know it's week 2. We got a whole lot of weeks to go, but trust me, it's a pretty big game early. Listen, you know what it is. It's the running attack against the air attack. Who can stop who? I can't lie. I like Dallas defensive line. They played great last season. Week 1 this season, they kind of didn't show up. I think they show up this week, especially because I know they still tight about what happened week 1. Because Falcons pretty much threw a parade over there in ATL like they just won a playoff game or a Super Bowl or something. So I know Dallas is still ticked off about that. And I think he's going to take that frustration out of it. But you got to be careful because if you come out and try to just blow out a team, it can cause you to lose. But even though I don't think that's Dallas' agenda to blow them out, it's just get the win. But I like Dallas in this position over the Jets. But I tell you one thing, if Dallas let Breece Hall run wild, it's going to be a long day for Dallas. But I like Dallas in this position. I'm going to take Dallas over the Jets. I'm going to say 42-32. Colts and Bucks. Bucks still away, although I think he said he'd be back. I don't know what he said, Monday. I think he said Monday, but Monday might be too late. I mean, let's be honest. We advanced. We started the season yesterday. We advanced today, 24-hour advance. So, Bucks might be 0-2 in this one, because it depends how fast the games go. I know the coach. I know the coach is probably saying, "Well, we had one 24-hour advance. Let's get another 24-hour advance." Because guess what? If we get a 24-hour advance, Coach gets the first win. So but we'll see how that one shake out though. Dolphins and Titans. Look, once again, the Titans came into this. Yeah, Monday, right? Yeah, I don't know. Monday might be too late. You know, Monday might be too late because we advanced today. And guys knocked out them games quick last night. And what's interesting about the advance that we just had was that the season didn't even start till late. It wasn't like yeah, of course he would. You know what I mean? Of course he would. The season started off late last night and we still advanced early, so I don't know. I mean, depending how it flows tonight, you know, we could have another possibly early advance, but we'll see how it moves. But look, like I said though, Titans, they came into the season, with people talking about them, including myself. Like I was saying, look, the Titans, you know, was looking like they was gonna be yeah, nah, exactly. Guys was waiting for season, including myself. Like I know I can identify with that. I couldn't wait for season 3 to start. It's like, yo, it's like you got something to get off your chest. You know, but this ain't the start that you want if you the Titans. Titans lost to the Colts, a team that they was favored over, and they lose this one, but they don't just lose this one; they get blown out in this one. So the defense was nowhere to be felt in this one, and Miami, back-to-back games showing why they had players in pretty much top 10 categories in a lot of different categories last year. Remember, when I was going through the season awards, Dolphins had a lot of categories where they had at least like two or three guys in top 10. So right now it's showing like why that was the case, and they pretty much scored 70 points back to back weeks, and Titans looking like they better figure out something quick because the one thing I'll say this about the Titans, if you start out the season like how I did last year, you ain't got to worry about nobody collapsing because I will not blow that lead. So you better get it together sooner than later. But right now, Titans is 0-2, and Miami is 2-0. And right now, they're looking like Buffalo. Even though Buffalo coming to the season with a chip on their shoulder, they're gonna have something to deal with over there in Miami. Yeah, right now, y'all doing your thing over there. Seahawks and Bengals. Um, Look, the Bengals missed the whole offseason. I mean, I don't know. If you play in the league, I don't know how you missed the whole offseason. Like, if you took over a team late in the season, missed the playoffs, you had a good draft pick, how you missed everything, because the commissioners reached out and they didn't hear nothing back. So it's like, how you just let an opportunity go to waste where you had a good draft pick? Because I'm telling you, the Bengals is better than what draft pick he had. Because he took the Bengals over when it was like 4 games left in the season. So he had a good draft pick, but he didn't do anything. He didn't participate in nothing. So that's a missed opportunity for the Bengals. Like, you supposed to capitalize off of that. But hey man, that's them over there. I gotta worry about my squad. I can't be worrying about what's going on over there in Cincinnati. But look, I'm not gonna lie. If this game get played, I think the Seahawks gonna have his hands full. Especially after giving up 64 points to the Rams. The Bengals is a caliber team to put up numbers like that as well. But I don't know. I don't know how engaged the Bengals are. I mean, when you miss an off season, are you even in tune? I don't know. So because they missed the off season, yeah, I mean, you got Well, that's if the Bengals is available. I'm not saying that the Bengals quit anything. I'm just saying I'm just speaking on what I've seen. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, when I see somebody miss an entire offseason, to me, that shows either you just not paying attention to what's going on in the league, uh, or you probably ain't really anticipating on playing in the league. I don't know. I mean, this is just me saying that. I can't say for sure you're not the Bengals ain't playing. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'll keep that in mind though about what you just said. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. You'll let me know what's up with the Bengals if he if he around or whatever. But I think listen, the Bengals, like I say, well, ain't no team open right now. Everybody got a team, but yeah, copy. Say no more. I keep that in mind. Um, but again, the Bengals is yo man. He's good. I'm not even gonna hold you. He's a good user. So me personally, I hope he just missed everything due to his schedule. Because I would like for the Bengals to be in it because the Bengals can ball. Trust me, the Bengals can ball. But again, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks in this one just because Seahawks is more in tune with his squad than the Bengals at this point. So I got Seahawks winning this one over the Bengals. I'm gonna say 57-42. Giants and Lions. Look, Lions got upset week 1 against the 49ers. If you're the Lions, you gotta throw that out the window. Forget about that upset loss, and you gotta bounce back. And the Giants will be a good team to do it against, because the Giants is a good user as well, in my opinion. So this would be a good team to get back from that loss that you took in week 1. And if you the Giants, you like, yo, listen, we ain't got no control over what Detroit need to do and them losing to teams that they supposed to beat. So if you the Giants, you like, listen, let's come take your up in this and let's not worry about nothing else except getting this win. Especially knowing that they're in a tough division. I like the Giants in this position. Like I said, me personally, I think Detroit might need to make a trade to shake up that team, because this team haven't been to the playoffs yet, and we in season 3. So that's not like Cole Lyles. I don't know. I don't know if he don't have the quarterback. I don't know. But whatever it is, I think you're gonna have to make a move. But I like the Giants, man. Give me the Giants over Detroit. 39, 39, 30. Packers and Vikings. Look, I can't recall seeing the Vikings beat any user yet. I'm waiting to see that. I'm wondering who his first victory will be against. But in this case, I don't think it will be against the Packers. I got Packers. But I will say this about Minnesota that I said last year. Um, Spaz, what up, my guy? It's been a long time, man. I mean, look, I would love to be able to put you in right now, but everything is booked at the moment, bro. You know what I'm saying? But soon as the spot open up, you know what I'm saying, you'll be the first to know. But look, I was trying to start AGS, so I'm gonna go back and look at the users that I had for that, and if I could get enough users, because I think at AGS, I think I might have had 21. I think I might have had 21 users over there, or 22. I'm not sure. So if you looking to play, you'll be 22 or 23, which is still not enough to start a league. But if anybody that didn't give me a team for AGS that want to now give me a team, give me a team, because I'll still kick off that season. I still got the list of everybody telling me about the teams they wanted. Just that you can't kick off no league with no 21 users. That's too many CPU teams. But I got you, Spaz. I definitely got you in mind with either one. You know. I mean, then you see who might want to get down. You know what I mean? Like whoever want to go jump in that, you know, all they gotta do is tap in with you. Oh, all right, all right. Packers and Vikings. Like I said about the Vikings last year, one thing I said about the Vikings is that he lose to everybody, but I gotta give him credit. He's been scoring. He just can't stop nobody. I've seen the Vikings lose quite a few games. Um, 70, 73 to 41 and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I kind of remember that name. Um, yeah, so the Vikings, they just can't stop nobody. If the Vikings could just play a little bit of defense, listen, they will start pulling out some upset wins. Because they've been scoring. They score. They just can't stop nobody. Um, so yeah, I mean that's not what you want to be dealing with going against a team like Green Bay. So I got the Packers, man. I'm gonna go Green Bay 61-38. Then we got Pats and Broncos. Look, man, like I said about the Patriots, I don't know, man. Like sometimes I told you, sometimes you can get a win and that win could translate to 3 or 4 wins. And sometimes you can get a loss and that loss can translate to 3 or 4 losses. I don't know, man. The Patriots, that was a gut wrenching loss that he took to me in week 1. He got to get that out of his mind, and that's not always easy to do. To blow a lead, to blow a 28-point lead in the fourth quarter, that is not something that's easy to bounce back from. I'm not even gonna hold you because um, if if that was me that blew that lead, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still trying to figure out how. Right? That's the thing. That's the one word that's on my mind. How? How we have 28 points in the fourth quarter and lose in overtime? So I don't know, man. Can the Patriots get off the mat and pull themselves up? I don't know. But hey, that's why the game's got to be played, right? But I tell you this, I'm gonna have to go with the Broncos just because I don't know what Patriots team is coming out. I don't know if the Patriots is coming to this game punch drunk or if they shook that off or what. I don't know. But I got Denver winning this game, man, just because I don't know the mental that the Patriots gonna have in this one. That's a tough loss, man. So can they bounce back from it? We'll see. But I got Broncos over the Pats. I'm gonna say Broncos 35, Patriots 31. Bills and Eagles. Look, good week 2 matchup right here. Two teams um, that started off week 1 with a win. They both 1-0. And if you Buffalo, this is a good early season matchup right here for you. Because they came out, took care of the business in week 1. Eagles, they didn't blow out their opponent, but they won a tight one. I mean, they did what they had to do. They won. They came back and won, took the lead late in the fourth, and held on to win the game. So they too showed something in that one. But this should be a good one right here. But if you Buffalo, after seeing the start that Miami's having, you kind of feeling like, yo, you know what? And you got to remember, Buffalo got swept against Miami last season. And to be honest with you, that's why Buffalo missed the playoffs because the Jets had the tiebreaker over Buffalo, so Jets won the division. Miami had the tiebreaker over Buffalo, so Miami got the wild card, and Buffalo missed the playoffs. So Miami right now, and granted, Miami still got to play Buffalo twice this year. So I'm not saying this game is going to decide anything, but what I am saying is that if Buffalo can go into Philly and win this game, yeah, your defense. Yeah, I said that. I said your defense played good in week 1. You know, if you Buffalo, if you could go into Philly and get this win, this is how you want to. This is how you want to get back and have a season with a chip on your shoulder. Start off 2-0, take out a good Philly team in week 2, and and demolish a good team in Carolina in week 1. Interesting game right here. It's in Philly. I'm gonna go. I already know you got a chip on your shoulder, bro. I said that. I was just saying. I don't know if you was listening when I said. I was like, yo, I know you couldn't. You were one of the main guys who couldn't wait for this season to start. You know, like I know you couldn't wait nothing more for week 1 to get here. You know, so I know that for a fact. Um, Listen, I think this gonna be a good game, man. Like to be honest with you, I think Buffalo comes into Philly and plays good, but I'm because it's in Philly, I'm going to give the edge to the Eagles. But I got it to be close, man. A potential Buff. Listen, I like Buffalo chances to win this game. You know, I respect Buffalo handle. Like Buffalo missing the playoff last year doesn't change how I feel about them. I still think Buffalo is a good team. I still think they're one of them teams that when you see them, that you got to play them, you got to come and you got to take care of your business. I like Philly in this one because they're in Philly, but I think it's going to be close. Give me Philly in this one, 42. Buffalo, 42, 42-35. Philly. Niners and Cardinals. Look, Niners got a week 1 upset win against the Lions in week 1. Cardinals got demolished in week 1. I think the Cardinals play better this week. I'm gonna roll a dice on the 49ers because I want to see if the 49ers can capitalize off that week 1 win if they might have found something. You know, so I'm going to go with the 49ers in this one. So I'm taking Niners over the Cards. Listen, I would love to see both of these teams play better this year. The Seahawks just been running away with this division easily. By second half of the season, he said he was on hotel Wi-Fi. Listen, I could believe that too. Listen, some of y'all may look at that and be like, "Yo, he fronting," but I believe that playing on hotel Wi-Fi, that ain't nothing like playing at your Wi-Fi at your crib. So the beautiful thing about it is they get to play twice this year. But yeah, back to the Niners and Cards. Listen, I want to see both of these teams play better. I want to see both of them challenge the Seahawks. Because by the time week 12 come around, week 10, it looked like Seahawks already got the division wrapped up. So good win for 49ers in week 1. Can they start the season 2-0? We'll find out after this week. But I got Niners over the Cardinals. I'm going to say Niners 38. Cardinals 21. 38-21, Niners over the Cardinals. I mean, look, I ain't saying he is or he wasn't, but I mean, if he was, then for me, that hotel Wi-Fi is valid because the hotel Wi-Fi is trash to try to play a game on, But I feel you if you saying he 1-4 or you said 1-3 against you, then you saying he wasn't on Wi-Fi, hotel Wi-Fi, all them games, which is true as well. But y'all, I know Bills is coming for your head this season. You bet that you swept them last year and he missed the playoffs. Yeah, Buffalo definitely got. Oh, you swept Dolphins first season. All right, so y'all both got a sweep. Y'all both got a sweep under y'all belt. You swept him the first season. He swept you the first season. The good news is here we are, season 3, and y'all got to play not once but twice. Steelers and the Rams. Listen. The Rams, I gotta say, man, I need to see the Rams have a much better season. Well, you can't have a worse season than what they had. Even if they don't win no games this year, to me, that's the same season as last year. They won 1 game last year. So even if they don't win no games this year, that's still the same season. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's worse, you ain't win a game. If you won 1 game, you ain't win no games, it's still the same thing. Dre is better than that. You know what I mean? I don't know how he only won one game, but I tell you this though, Dre be making some horrible trades. You know, yeah, he definitely pulled off a heist to get Anthony Richardson. I still don't know how that trade got approved, but he pulled off a heist with that one. But I'm just looking at like how the Rams don't have Jared Verse on their team. Like I just feel like certain guys you need to be building around. When I say you, I ain't talking about you per se. I'm saying anybody. Certain teams, certain guys you look at on your team, especially if they're young, right? If they're young, you got to say, yo, nah, we building around this guy. You know, if we got an elite pass rusher, then if you got an elite pass rusher, you don't even need an elite cornerback, right? Because if you got a pass rusher, you don't need a shutdown cornerback because the pass rusher is going to get pressure on the cornerback to where is that any cornerback is going to be able to hold it down. Yeah, I know you got him. Yeah, I know. So if you got an elite pass rusher, then if anything, just work on getting cornerbacks to go with the pass rusher. Like you don't get rid of the pass rusher to fill up another hole, and then now you have a hole somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like I rather keep that spot plugged and go plug up the other stuff on my own. But Jared Verse, nah, no way I'm getting rid of him. So I don't know, man. I need to see the Rams turn things around because they made a lot of trades too, first two seasons, and they got nothing to show for it. They had one win last year. I mean, you gotta show that all these trades meant something. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on in the Rams. I mean, look, they did score 64 points in week one. But to be honest with you, they scored a lot of points, a lot of games last season, and they still was losing. So I don't even know. I don't even know what to make of that. But we'll see, man. Look, I'll tell you one thing. If you won one game last year and you start off 0-2, even though it's only 0-2, trust me, that fear is going to start kicking in that locker room early, starting off 0-2. I think the Rams got to get a win here. 1-1 looks so much better than 0-2 if you're coming off the season that the Rams just had, you know. But I got to go with the Steelers, man. Like, how can I not? You know, I got to go with the Steelers. And again, I'm not saying that the Rams. I'm not saying that the Rams can't. He said Dre in trouble. Dre, my guy too, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Dre could play, but I don't know. It's just, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dre score, but he's looking like the Vikings. As far as what I'm saying, he's looking like the same thing I say about the Vikings. I'm saying the Vikings score, but the Vikings can't stop nobody. And dare I say, the Rams pretty much had the same record as the Vikings last year. The Vikings had no loss. The Vikings might have had one win due to a fair sim or a force or something. And the Rams had one win. So they had the same record, and there I am describing them the same. They both are scoring points, but they can't stop. They can't stop anybody. And again, I'm not saying that the Rams can't win this game. Dre got it in them to win. But man, you got to remember, man, that morale is already low. I don't think Dre has nobody with the arrow point with the plus over there. I think it's red. Trust me, I know that. I know about that because I experienced that last year. Remember when I was telling you about I had to get a new system, when I was losing a bunch of games because my system was tweaking, it was hard to start winning because everybody morale was low. Everybody overall was lower. Everybody attributes is lower. You got to remember when you don't have no confidence and you got that minus bar, everything is lower. Your route running, your passing accuracy, everything is affected. So I don't know, man. The Rams gonna have to figure something out and quickly. I mean, but look, they got Anthony Richardson, so they got a good way. They got a good person over there to lead the charge, you know. But I got Steelers in this one over the Rams. Steelers, I'm gonna say 51-45. 51-45. Steelers over the Rams. Bears and Chiefs. Bears blow out the Chiefs 48-13. Bears 2-0 in the season. Listen, Bears, another team that I think have a sour taste in their mouth. Um, Bears was one and done last year. They lost to the Packers after having a great season, and they was one and done and got blown out against the Packers. So I'm pretty sure they come into this season remembering that, and they like, yo, listen, we take it out on everybody that we got to play. And so far they 2-0, and they've been doing that. Chiefs 1-1 this season, Bears 2-0. Falcons and Saints. Listen, if you the Falcons, you got a great win against Cowboys. You do not want to follow that up with a loss against the Saints. Because again, otherwise the Falcons against the Cowboys is almost like it didn't even happen. Because you gotta understand, when you look at your first two games, right? You say we play the Cowboys, man, that's a tough game. So let's just say you be like, man, all right, we might lose that one. But then you look at the Saints and you say, oh, all right, now we're gonna beat the Saints. So you figure we'll be 1-1. But if you beat the Cowboys, you gotta be 2-0. Because now if you lose to the Saints, it don't even matter who you won and who made you 1-1. The fact is you 1-1, you should be 2-0. So if you the Falcons, you can't take your eye off the prize. You got a good win against the Cowboys. You gotta follow that up with a win against the Saints, a team that you favored over. So with that said, I'll take the Falcons. Falcons 45, Saints 28. Chargers and Raiders. Listen, this is another game that has a lot at stake. This is an early big season matchup. This is a statement game right here. These two split last year, but when it came time for the playoffs, the Raiders took care of business against the Chargers and sent the Chargers home. If you the Chargers, you come into this game, you can't wait to see this team on your schedule to get some get back. I tell you one thing, Chargers know that they could win because they beat them last year. But that's last year, and the Raiders are currently the champs. And they're at home. They blew out the Ravens in week 1. So Raiders gonna come into this game flying high. But I think that because they dominated the Ravens so easily, they might come into this game feeling, a little, dare I say, overconfident. So I like the Chargers in this position to sneak out a win over the champs. But if the champs clearly can win this game, but I like the Chargers in the upset position in this one just because how easily the Raiders dominated the Ravens. I got the Chargers in the upset this week to catch the Raiders slipping. Chargers 41, Raiders 40. Jacksonville and Texans. Look, if you the Jags, you gotta have bad blood with the Texans, right? Texans officially eliminated the Jags last season, and here go the Jags in week 2. They got a chance to make an early statement themselves. I say the Texans favor in this one by 10 over the Jags. Texans at home. Texans coming off a thrilling week 1 comeback. I like the Texans in this spot. That's why I say they're the favorite. Browns and Ravens. If you listen, Browns one of them teams too. They're on the clock now. I mean, we're in week 3. They made a ton of trades. You gotta start trending in the other direction. You can't keep starting off the season 1-6 and things like that. I mean, all these moves, that's the thing. All you guys who trade a lot, at some point, it got to show. We in season 3 now. These trades that y'all made, it got to show. If not now, then when? I mean, again, we in season 3. We played 2 full seasons. All these moves that people made, it got to show, man. So if you're the Browns, I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting for that breakout moment. I mean, right now, this is not a good position to be in against the Ravens because the Ravens got trounced in week 1. And I always say, team that got blown out definitely comes back and plays better the next week. So I think the Ravens going to play much better this week. But if you're the Browns, man, you got to take one step at a time. If you don't beat the Ravens, you got to at least slow them down. You got to keep it competitive at least. Start from there. It's not even about the wins. If you lose this game by 4 or something like that, listen, at the end of the day, count that as a win. But you gotta crawl before you walk. So all the moves that y'all made over there, it's time. And then you made another move. You got the receiver from Miami over there, Waddle. So at some point in time, you got to show that these pieces you traded for was for a purpose. I would love to see the Browns compete in this one. I would love to see the Browns winning this one. Y'all know I root for parity. I don't root for the same guys to keep winning over and over. I like to see other guys that's been struggling to come out and take care of business. My mic went out? That's crazy. Y'all can't hear me still? Oh, you hear me? All right, cool, cool. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Um, yeah, so like I said, I root for teams like the Browns, the Niners, the Cards, the Saints. Like I root for them teams, man. Like I don't. This is why I be saying what I be saying about the trades. Like I don't talk about the trades because I'm trying to talk down to anybody or I'm just somebody that hate trades. All right, copy. I don't. This is why I talk about the trades for teams that struggle because I want to see everybody. I don't know if that's we're gonna see, my boy. I mean, like I say, we gotta see how you get off the mat. You know, that's a tough loss to take, man. But we're gonna see. But yeah, that's why I talk about trades the way I do because I want to see. Uh, oh, okay. I want to see. I want to see parity. I want to see guys get better. Like I root for that. And y'all know I always say that. So I ain't just freestyling. I ain't up here just making stuff up and fronting. Nah, I mean that. I want to see guys do better. That's why. That's why. Listen, don't y'all hear me bigging guys up? Like when I say yo, Dwayne improved and stuff like that. Like y'all heard me say Calm. I was like yo, when Calm first joined the league, Calm wasn't a good user like how he is now. Calm was losing a whole lot of games when he first joined the league, but Calm got better. You know what I mean? He got better fast. Carolina Blue Mo, the Panthers, he wasn't winning a lot of games when he first joined the league. He got better. You know what I mean? So I always pay homage to dudes that I see like, yo, oh, nah, I give it up. I may, listen, one thing about the fifth quarter, sometimes it may seem like I'm tearing somebody down, which I'm not. But that's just the reality of it. Like everything ain't gonna be praise. Some things I'm gonna have to speak a certain way about it. But if it's time to give praise, I'm gonna give praise. Look, I talked about the Colts winning week 1 against the Titans after I just was dissing them about his trades. Now I still think he's a horrible GM, but at the end of the day, when he get a good win, I gotta speak on it. I ain't got nothing personal here against nobody. You understand? So it's like whatever got to be talked about just got to be talked about. That's just what it is. Ain't nothing personal, But I just feel like 85, 90% of the league don't know how to trade, and and I'm telling you because that's me always seeing the trade offers. A lot of guys don't know how to trade, and I keep saying sometimes the best trade is no trade, but that seems to be going over some of your head. Sometimes the best trade is no trade. Like stop caring about seeing what other people doing, and you want to get caught in the mix, and you feel like you want to make a trade. And the reason why, and let me tell you something else. The reason why I say 85, 90% of the league don't know how to trade is because too many of y'all that do trade would just make a trade with the person in the DM that reached out to you. Instead of putting that person on pause and putting that player on a block and getting a better offer. You got to understand when you trade in this business, you ain't making no friends. Ain't no trades. That's a business deal y'all making. So when you're making business deals, you got to do what? You got to make the best business deal. So the best business deal to make is to do what? Put people on that your guy is available. Stop going with the first dude that jump in the DM and say, yo, listen, what you want for such and such, and then he make you an offer and you be like, I bet. No, if that player is on the block, yo, because you know what you're gonna do, you're gonna make that guy. You're gonna yeah, exactly. And I said that before too. You're gonna make that guy have to rethink what he's trying to offer now for the trade. Because if you put that if you put that guy in the chat on the trade block, whoever is trying to make that offer with you, once he see what other people is offering, he now got to ante up to try to beat out the offer. Hold on, y'all. So that's why I talk about the trades, man. What? Go get it. Um, that's why I talk about the trades, man. I be trying to help y'all. And when I say help y'all, I'm talking about the guys who always losing in the trades. That's what I'm talking about. Like, just be smarter. Just be smarter with the way what y'all doing with the deals. That's all. But yeah, because like I said, the reason why I even got on this topic is I started talking about the Browns. The Browns is known for always wanting to make a deal. All right, no problem, bro. I ain't got it. I listen. I don't even. If you feel like, I'm happy to know that you willing to trade. I'm happy to see that. But what I'm saying is that, all right, we're in season 3. At some point in time, you got to turn things around. Otherwise, what was the point of all these trades? Because some of y'all is trading, y'all building up cap penalties. Something that y'all not paying no mind to. But them cap every time you trade a guy, 2 million cap penalty there, 3 million cap penalty there, million cap penalty there, and before you look up and realize you got negative 15 cap penalty. So I'm saying, if you're gonna be building up cap penalties like that, these moves you making got to be worth it at the end of the day. Otherwise, what's the point? You might as well just stay pat and just build your squad. It's plain and simple. But again, man, uh, week 1 was a blur. It happened fast. We advanced 24-hour advance. And look, if week 2 can be a blur and we can advance again, I'm here for it. Why not? You know. But I did the recap. I did the predictions. I even did the weekly recap. So and then I'm also gonna start digging deeper into stats and stuff when I do the 5th quarter. I'm gonna start looking into third down conversions, like, see what teams ranks high third down conversions. I think something like that, third down conversions, is big, and I want to look into that. I'm gonna start looking into that while I'm on the 5th quarter. I think stuff like that is speaks highly of teams. I think it's gonna show. I think it's gonna show and prove why certain teams is excelling. Because I think if you're terrible on third down conversions, obviously you ain't really winning no games, because that means you punting the ball, or you just turn the ball over. So I'm gonna start looking into a little deeper, more stats, get a little deeper with it to see who's doing what around the league. But look, man, we had week 1 that came and went. We are now week 2. So far it was what, 1 game played, right? 1 game or 2 games played. Let's get another early advance if we can. And I'll see y'all in the next 5th quarter. I'm Ghost.